You know what that bell means?
Oh, I know that bell doesn't mean it's dinner time, although it almost is.
It almost means school's in session, Mr. Craig. I want you to tell me who's the teacher today.
Well, I'll tell you who the teacher is, because it sure isn't us. We're going to do Tech Talk to Travis Gensler. Gets going before you go.
What you said?
I said before you go.
What you said?
I said before you go, Willis.
What you said?
What you talking about, Willis?
What you said?
Going gone.
Buckle up. It's the Insurance Dudes Podcast.
Boom.
Boom.
Boom. Travis
Love
Gensler.
it.
How you doing,
Travis
man?
Gensler.
Is it Gensler? Gensler.
Gensler.
Oh, Gensler.
Yeah.
Way to go, Craig. I followed his lead.
50, and I get it wrong every time.
Some people try to put an I in there, but it's really an E, so it's
Gensler.
Yeah.
Zler.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
But it's something I dealt with my whole life, so.
Yeah, same. I got Pretzinger, then I can say that.
I still
so.
answer to it.
Yeah. I've answered to much worse.
Right.
Yuck. So, well, welcome, man. It's great to have you on the show. And we'll start with what we always start with, which is what was the first concert that you went to?
Lollapalooza 95.
Oh, man. That's a good one.
So
who's the headliners?
opened? Yeah.
Metallica was headliner.
Ah, good.
Yeah.
Was that the third one? Fourth? I went to one. Lollapalooza 1.
I don't remember which one it was. I was just so jacked that I got to go to a concert.
I can remember a lot of the band. So at Lollapalooza 1, the headliner was Jane's Addiction, and we were in the front row,
Right.
which was incredible. I mean,
Yeah.
Perry jumped out into the thing. We were holding him up. Like it was Susie and the Banshees, Body Count. Remember Ice-T with Body Count?
Yeah. Oh, man, that's way back machine.
It was crazy. Yeah, it was really good. So, and you know what? It might have been in the 80s, actually, or 90. I don't know.
Who played number 3 besides Metallica?
Let's see. There was Soundgarden was there.
Oh
yeah.
Wow.
That's good.
Oh man, I'm drawing a blank now that I'm on screen.
It's okay.
But it was
Because you were
crazy.
drinking at the
Yeah, because that's what we did in high school.
Yeah.
Right.
Why wouldn't I?
That's
So,
funny.
Let's see. Well, so for folks that don't know who you are, Travis, why don't you give a little background, talk about how you got in the insurance business and what you're doing now?
I started just like everybody else by accident.
Uh-huh.
Very good.
I actually had nothing to do. I just came off of a bad deal with a marketing franchise, and I needed something that was consistent. So I was like, you know what? I used to mow yards for a guy up the street that was an agent, and he always seemed to do pretty well. So, why don't I do that thing, since he made some decent cash at this deal?
There you go.
And he wasn't hurting ever. No. And so I was like, yeah, let's look into it. And I had actually started out as a farmer's agent right after Zurich bought him. Because growing up, I had no idea. It was all State Farm. I had no idea how big the insurance industry was. So started with farmers, and from there, made a few decisions, ended up being independent a couple years later, just because of some things that I couldn't do that I wanted to do. And fast forward 10 years later, here I am still on the independent side, loving life.
Cool. That is awesome. So tell us, what were some of those things, or just mainly tell us the story of the journey with those things, and then how it's different.
Well, when you get started, they always have you start with your friends and family and start working down through your network. And then you start networking into, other centers of influences, and, everybody runs through the same cycle. And I started getting into some upper middle class, higher net worth type of clientele. And I started running into issues where the company wasn't comfortable with the size of the account or the umbrella size, or just because the houses were, 2-3 million type of situations. And I was like, but these are good people. I want to take care of them. Yeah. And I couldn't. And so then I started I was like, well, if I can't do this, then I'll go do some commercial. And then I realized they were even worse at commercial because they tell you they want to do commercial.
Yes.
I'll train you on commercial. And then I ended up being the number, this is hilarious, number 12 commercial writer in the state for that year for farmers in Missouri. And it's because I wrote 22 duplexes on a commercial policy.
One?
No, I broke them up into 12 because I had to meet my numbers.
Yeah.
Because you have to qualify and show them you're producing numbers. And so I wrote it on,
sure.
on this location was on this policy. I mean, that's how the game goes.
Yeah.
That's so
and
funny.
so somehow I was, ranked top commercial producer, and I'm like, this is such a joke.
Yeah.
And then there was some, so it was right about 2010, 2011, we had a ton of tornadoes and stuff roll through the Midwest, and rate increases started going through the roof after I just spent 2.5 years building what I thought was an amazing book, and with a captive, company, because I couldn't do anything outside. And so then I started seeing these things walk out the door because I couldn't compete at all. And I was like, 2 years of hard work, just right out the door. And so I started paying attention to the cancellation requests that were coming in. And I was like, who are these companies? Because I grew up only knowing State Farm, Allstate, and Farmers. And I was like, shoot, this is a bigger deal than I expected. And so I started looking into it. And I was like, I need to be over there on the independent side. Just because of what I wanted to do, that was the best fit for me. So made my, opted for early retirement with that company, and made my plan and moved on.
That's awesome.
That's where I am now.
Are you at your house right now? Is that your house?
Yeah, this is my office in the basement.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you have an office outside the house?
We do. I downsized a couple years ago because paying for office space just seemed kind of dumb to me. And I noticed there was people just sitting in their office playing on their phone. And I was like, why am I paying for office space for you to just sit there? So you don't have an office now, go out and sell something.
Yeah.
Got rid of the office. I work from home most of the time now, and I just go visit the office when I have to. And I just designed our agency to be mobile, so we can do business anywhere. I don't have to be tied down. Everything's on the cloud.
Love it. So what do you on the independent side? I know you have you definitely can do some cool marketing stuff. What are you doing marketing wise?
You know what? The most valuable thing that we've done is just built an email list and stayed in contact with those same people year after year. You know what's funny is marketing's like this cool buzzword, but the basics still work, and they work better than a lot of the cool things that have popped up in the last couple of years. Because then we all get into insurance to build an asset that's going to continue to generate money. And when it comes to marketing, there's only two things that you can turn into an asset, and that's your email list and your website.
Yep.
Those are the only two things that you can control. If you're on the captive side, you can still go build your own website as long as you don't put their logos on there. You can still brand yourself, so create an asset that you can control. And so that's basically what we've done. And I did, that's probably about 2 years ago, I figured out, I was like, man, if I kept track of every person that ever requested anything from me since I started, I would never have to talk to anybody again if I talked to them every year and said, hey, would you give me a shot? Because eventually the rates are doing this with every company. I'm going to be competitive, or they're going to have a bad claims experience, or somebody's not going to respond to their phone call, and I'm going to have an opportunity. So just staying in touch year after year with the same people over and over again. And that will drive more business than anything else that you want to try to do, if you do it right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you've built out automation to help you do that.
Yeah.
How much
you can't do it without.
Yeah.
You know what? It was a couple years ago. I've always been a tech guy, and it always irritated me on how slow the insurance industry is to technology. It was the most painful thing for me to go to insurance, because then they were like, here's our system. And I'm like, this is like from 83. And we're, 2010. So it was one of those things that I kind of took it upon myself to go figure out what I could use and develop some stuff. And that's, 2 years ago, I created a little bit over 2 years ago. I created the automated insurance agency group on Facebook to pick other people's brains on what they were doing with technology, and realized that everybody has the same problem. Nobody knows what to do. So, it's one of those things that even though I love technology, you still have to take the time to try things and learn things and fail at things and then retry things again to figure out what you want to do and how you want to get there. So over the last 2 years, I take time, I set time aside. I call it hammer time. And Ooh. I just put my feet up and I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? And I try to work through some stuff in my head. You kind of got some downtime. Hammer time sounds really aggressive, but it's really me just sitting back, like staring out the window, like trying to work and map things out. Cause you got to think about the customer experience.
Do you wear parachute pants when it's hammer time?
Right. That's the only thing. I need to get some.
Look over Jason's right shoulder and you may
see. That's right.
Yeah.
Is MC Hammer right there.
There you go.
That's hammer right. Time. And this is about to be in the back wall.
Oh, that is big time.
Ice.
Little ice baby.
Yeah. Can you do the dance?
No.
Oh, you need to learn the dance.
I know. I do.
I can do the
I had a friend that could do that. Used to. Yeah. I had a friend that like literally shaved the sides in his head back in the day.
It gets you in places if you can figure that one out.
Yeah.
All day long.
Well, so
crazy. It hasn't always been easy being independent either, right? Like figuring that out. I think failure is probably something that we have to embrace as entrepreneurs. What are some of the things that you had to struggle through and then you learned from and got better as a result of?
You know what? Failure is probably my favorite thing, to be honest, because somebody a handful of years back was like, man, you're the luckiest dude I know. And I was like, why is that? And he's like, everything always seems to work out for you. And I was like, yeah, but you haven't seen all the times that I failed and got back up. But you got to learn from it. You can't do something and not learn from it. So if you learn from it, you should be able to improve yourself so you don't make that mistake again and, be able to move forward. So, you know what? I've probably failed more than anybody out there, but that's also what's pushed me further ahead into the forefront of everybody. Just because I'm willing to try things. I mean, we're in insurance. We understand risk, sometimes you need to be a risk taker and just try things and that'll get you somewhere. Sometimes it won't, but sometimes you learn what you shouldn't do.
Right. And if you don't do anything, you're going to end up like Sears.
Right.
They didn't do anything.
Who?
yeah, exactly. But no, it's true. It's 100% true that you have to try stuff like that. That has to be built in. If you want to be a business owner at all, especially these days, where everything is moving so fast.
Right.
Like if you're not trying different stuff continually, like to your point, having hammer time.
Right.
If you don't do that, then you're gone. Like just consider yourself done. I mean, I hate to say it, but
I honestly believe in the next 5 to 7 years, agents that aren't trying to move forward with technology, you're going to be hurting really bad.
Yep. I agree.
Just look around you. I mean, everything, the customer experience is the biggest deal. And a lot of it's driven by technology. And I had one of my reps in today and he's like, I can't believe we are still talking to agents about the fact that they are using paper files.
Right.
And I was like, what's a paper file? I mean, here's a piece of paper, but that's because I got to fill it out for my tax lady. She hasn't figured it out either.
Right.
We need to do it electronically,
Yeah. It is crazy.
Simple things.
What's even crazier is that there would be no other industry. Oh, there is no other industry. Well, there's maybe accountants, but there's not many industries that can do that still. The fact that agents can still get by, can still make a lot of money, being able to have files and, crazy staff that's like filling out paperwork that's over. I don't know, just like all the mundane stuff. It's like crazy to me.
Well, it's, I've talked to hundreds of agents over the last couple of years. And what I think it boils down to is the ones that aren't moving forward are becoming less profitable and you're going to work yourself to death.
Yep.
Yeah.
you're literally killing your staff with work because it's unnecessary. There's systems that can help you do things.
Yep. I wouldn't be able to. I mean, I leave at work at 5 every day. Like I have to. My wife makes me, because I can work all the time. But like I have to do that. Like that's the deal I made with her.
Right.
And there's no way that I would be able to do that without technology.
No.
It's crazy. Yeah.
No, you got to have a good balance, and that's the only way to happen, make it happen.
Yep. What are some things that you're excited about, being more on the tech side? What are some things that you're seeing in the trends in the industry that gets you excited?
Oh man, I love the fact that there's this whole thing called InsurTech, and there's actually investment in different programs, not only to make the agent or the agency's life better and more profitable, but also more importantly to assist with the experience the consumer is having with us. Because technology is not all about making your life easier. Right. It should help and make it more consistent and drive that customer experience, because it's 2020. And like, if you're not focusing on customer experience with your office, if you're a slam and jam type of situation, the retention is going to start falling off because people are expecting certain things now. And if you're not driving that, you're going to have a hard time moving forward.
Well, yeah, if you can't create value in a world where our product is perceived as a commodity, then yeah, buy, right?
And I think if you look at, like, go back and look at the travel agents, for example, they got hammered by technology. But if you've paid attention in the last year or two, they're starting to come back around because people had bad experience doing it themselves. And now they want somebody to justify the decision that they're making. They may do their research, but they still want that human element to just justify, like, am I really doing the right thing? And especially with a complicated product like insurance.
Yep.
Right now, we're kind of in that tweener stage where, people think they can do it online, but we get new clients all the time that were like, man, we had a terrible experience. Well, you didn't buy comprehensive and collision. You let the app tell you were saving $75, but right. It's because it was state minimum limits with no physical damage coverage at all.
Right.
Of course, they're not going to pay for your car.
Right.
So let me help you figure out what to buy.
Yeah.
So that trend's starting to come back around.
Yeah, I definitely look at it like, it's supposed to be a tool to help a business. I guess you can build a business around it, but really I think the magic is when you have the two, because it can be, tech alone is very frustrating.
Right.
There's those times where it's like you lose your mind because it's like, dude, can I just talk to somebody to help me out? Maybe even on the back end, right? For us as agents, it's like, oh, like you're trying to overcome some sort of problem. And it's like, I do that all the time, and I'd love to be able to call like tech support, but I can't.
Yeah,
so it's
but that's a prime example. We suffer the same things with other businesses.
Yep.
If we're getting irritated with that stuff, they're doing it with our offices too. So if you get tired of punching a 1 for English and 2 for Spanish, and then, drilling down through the menus to figure out who to talk to, our consumers, when they call our office, are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
They want to talk to a live person too, and they're looking for help.
Yep.
Beautiful. You're calling me? Yes. That's what I want you to do. It's exactly it. It's opportunity.
Every time that phone rings is opportunity. And if you can drive those rings, right? I think that as the business owner, that's what we need to do, right?
Right.
And is to make those phones ring so that they're happy and they're on the line, they're on the phone quoting, right? Their highest value activity.
Right.
There's nothing more important for a producer to do than to be on the phone talking to somebody to sell them insurance.
Yeah.
And
building relationships.
Right? To your point before, the technology is awesome, right? Yes. Oh, and it does speed things up for the consumer, right? But they think that, oh, well, since this is here and I can do it, I'm going to get a great result. The problem is they don't know what to put in. right? They look at what they had before. They're like, well, this is what I had. Well, the guy that gave you that before was some schlep in a call center at a lizard factory and didn't know what to put. We really pick on them. We really pick on them.
Well, they deserve it because they're not doing anybody any help.
No. When you see policies that are 250, 500, 10, I mean,
or you see the policy that left you and came back because they had a bad experience.
Yeah.
That you had at 500 limits and it was dropped down to 50, 100, and they were told it was the same thing.
Yeah, they were overcharging you.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That's so crazy. It's so crazy. And they all, you always hear that like you are like sell your agency. But like, honestly, when you think about it, you are the competitive advantage. Like you are it. The technology is not necessarily it's the competitive advantage to get somebody on the phone or something, but you are the competitive advantage. When you're comparing yourself against somebody else, you building that connection is something that you'll never be able to build in tech ever. So it's like the more you develop those skills to be involved with somebody, like those interpersonal skills are like so important.
It's the relationship is the trump card.
It is.
If you have the relationship, you've got the advantage.
Mm-hmm.
And technology can help remind you when you need to do things, but it's not going to do it for you.
Right.
Don't let it make you lazy. You still have to build that relationship.
Yeah.
You still have to follow up. You still got to call.
It's a tool.
Yeah, it's a tool. And you use the tool the wrong way, you're going to build something really crappy. Use it the right way, you're going to build something awesome.
Right. Mm-hmm. You might even bust your hand up.
Right.
That's awesome. So what would the number one piece of advice you give somebody that's coming into the industry that you've learned that would help them? The number one, like if it was your last day on earth.
Oh man, you know what? I think the entire industry struggles with this. If you're getting going, as you get going, write down your processes as you go, because that will save you a boatload of time in the future when you have to hire somebody and you're like, shoot, how did I do that? Because you're so robotic doing it yourself.
Yeah,
man, get it written down from day one and tweak it as you go, but just get something on paper so that way when somebody steps in, you can say, hey, here's how we do it, and it makes the training process easier.
Yeah.
Dude, you're the first person that said that, and it's 100% true.
135 in.
It's like hiring when you need to is the wrong time to hire. And it's like, same with that. It's like, we bring somebody on and you're teaching them. You're like, dude, I got to write all this stuff down. And then once they're trained, it's like, whew, all right, cool.
Done.
Right.
And then it's like, I got to write that down. And then the next time.
List.
Yeah, I'll do that before the next one comes on. And 13 people later, you're like, why is this so jacked up in here? We're all doing it different ways. Everybody just decides they want to do it their way.
So true. And your justification when you're smaller, when you only have 2 employees or something like that, it's like, well, I'm just going to bring one person on. Like, but then, 3 years later, you're 30 people into it and you're like, what the hell am I doing? Like,
what the hell is everybody doing?
Yeah.
You don't know. And your operation becomes so inefficient because everybody's fighting each other. Like, man, that's probably talking to the agency owners the last several years, like everybody suffers from that. Nobody does it. Nobody wants to, it's the stupid thing that you need to do that nobody is willing to take the time to do because we're too busy writing business.
Right.
But it's going to kill you later.
Well, you can't scale. You have scaled chaos if you don't have some kind of process of onboarding.
Right.
Yeah. Process is the only thing that'll help you scale.
Yep.
Because eventually you're just going to plateau and you can't figure out what's wrong. And then you've got 3 people you're paying. You're like, I have no idea what these guys do.
Yep.
And everybody's doing too much stuff.
Right business.
Yeah.
Yeah. Having the processes written down, as dumb as it, like even the dumb process, even stuff that people should just inherently know. It's like, just write it down and then you never have to deal with it again. Right. So simple.
Yeah. And it's easy to update. Just put it on a Microsoft Word document.
Yeah.
Just to get started. And you know what?
100%.
It has an edit button. You can go change it if you need to.
Yeah.
Like, it's not hard. I mean, it might be for some people, but
right. That's funny. Love it, Travis. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah.
This was awesome.
Yeah, it was fun.
Is there any final thoughts that you'd like to throw out there for anybody that you think would be of huge value?
Oh man, I would just say if you're not focusing on learning technology right now and figuring out how to become a modern agency in the digital world, you need to start listening to some podcasts, reading some books, join some groups that are focusing on that, and just get involved in the conversation. And even if you're not a technology person, just being around it, you'll start picking things up, and that will help your agency in the next 5 to 7 years when it's going to be critical that you're doing those things.
Yep. 100%. Because the dude or dudette down the street is.
Yeah.
And they're going to pass. They're going to run laps around you.
Yeah. It's, we got, I was talking to somebody about buying an agency a couple days ago. I just went out of focus. And the conversation went to, well, how well do you do technology in your agency? And what kind of data and how is your data organized? And that's going to be a piece of what goes into the purchasing of agencies in the future.
Yeah.
So if you're not organized, if you don't have good, clean data and you're not using technology, I'm just going to steal your business. I'm sorry to say it, but I'm coming at you.
Well, that brings up a good point with the especially on the indie side to sell your agency. I mean, if you have that data is really what you're buying, right?
You know what? Even on the captive side, that's so valuable.
Yeah.
Just to know who you're dealing with and who your target customer is actually buying from you that helps in your marketing.
Yeah.
You don't have to quote everybody. Not everybody's a good fit. Once you figure out who is a good fit, you can stop wasting your time on the front end by saying, no, you don't qualify, but you got to collect the data to figure out who's a good fit.
That's right.
The companies are going to tell you to quote everybody. They just want numbers.
Totally. No, that's true. We always say, you hear it all over the internet with go an inch wide and a mile deep on your marketing.
Yeah.
And these days, because of data, we can literally do that, which makes it so much easier because it's like, okay, this is what we're good at. Okay, let's go hard in that area. Why waste energy?
Yeah.
And all this other stuff.
Yeah.
I love that.
That would be it.
Yep. Cool, man. Well, thank you so much, Travis.
Yeah, Travis, thank you so much. Awesome to have you on.
Yeah, that was super fun. I enjoyed that.
That is awesome. Yeah.
Cool.
So
all the way from Missouri.
Yeah. Kansas City, Missouri, the Missouri side.
Yes. Huge value bombs, I would say. Value nuggets.
Oh, yeah. Nuggets. We can't, not bombs.
Not bombs.
Can't say bombs.
That's somebody else.
That's a different podcast.
Different
was very
podcast.
great. Well, he did come on our podcast.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
John Lee Dumas. But, well, cool.
I'll drop him wherever.
Yeah.
Drop whatever you want, wherever you want.
Love it.
Well, thank you, Travis Gensler. If somebody wants to look you up, how can they find you?
I'm on LinkedIn. Just search for Travis Gensler. AutomatedInsuranceAgency.com is where we do all of our tech talks.
Cool.
So feel free to connect with us there.
Yeah.
Cool. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Love it. All right.
Dude. Thank you for being an insurance dude, and it was great talking to you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Okay. Bye.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Hey, you've got to check out the Insurance Dudes Inner Circle coming soon, where you get extended interviews as well as live coffee talks in our private Facebook group. Join the mailing list today at theinsurancedudespodcast.com. Hey, thanks for checking out The Insurance Dudes. Hey, please subscribe. We got some really great stuff coming out.